If you've been thinking about getting serious with your money, like actually serious, now's the time. The Motley Fool is offering new members 50% off their iconic stock recommendation service, Stock Advisor. This is the same service that's crushed the market with recommendations that have returned 1,057% since inception, compared to the S&P 500's 180% over that same period. This isn't guesswork. The Motley Fool has a track record of finding companies before they become household names. So if you want to invest smarter and you like saving money while doing it, go to fool.com/listen to claim your 50% off discount off a 1-year term of Stock Advisor. Again, that's fool.com/listen. Returns of 1,057% are from the Motley Fool's product Stock Advisor and measured against S&P 500 returns of 180% as of July 10th, 2025. Past performance is not an indicator of future results. All investing involves a risk of loss. Individual investment results may vary.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Mike is a trooper in many ways. Mike is a trooper for doing this while sick, but also essentially picking this movie by showing me this clip a million times from this movie. I would say one of the greatest openings of a film, Indian cinema film notwithstanding, but a film period, because Rajinikanth dancing around on a carriage for essentially 15 minutes is what it feels like. It is never not worth watching.
Well, it takes enough to get going. I mean, you've got the whole thing with the picture of Gandhi and he's throwing flowers at it. And then you get the slow turn of one of the idols. And it's just like, okay, eventually we're going to get credits. And then when the credits start, those beautiful paintings of all the characters, I'm just like, I'm here. I'm ready for this.
You were here for superstar Rajni.
Damn, great. It has to spell it across. And
hell yeah. I was really hoping it would be Rajinikanth, but I'm glad they just kind of left it at the Rajni. Boy, on this episode of the Kulturecast, we're kicking off the new year. It's 2023. And we're also launching a brand new show on the Weirding Way Media Network. That show is called the Bollywood Cinema Club, and it's a spinoff of this being us talking about Indian cinema on this show. I'm not saying we're not going to do it on this show anymore. We probably still will, but it's getting its own show. But we're also doing a month because, like I said, we've already been doing it. I am joined, as always, or not always, but, once a month, it seems, my good friend, the host of the projection booth, Mike White.
Also a superstar.
Yeah, you are in so many ways.
And you are our superstar.
Exactly. And just like Rajinikanth, you are a good-looking man. I wouldn't even say for your age, just you're a good-looking man. He's a good-looking man now, then, forever. It's like the WWE. Speaking of wrestling, also here from Mondo Heather, your friend and mine, Macho Man Heather Drain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Again, pretty far from anything to do with Rajinikanth, but I guess not really, because one of the movies we talked about over on the Bollywood Cinema Club, I guess this episode's going to be coming out far down the road, is Dangal, which is an Amir Khan movie. And I guess I should mention, here, this is not an Amir Khan film, Heather. I'm sorry.
You know what? Rajinikanth brought so much just like rocket fire charisma that I was okay with that. I mean, did I miss Amir? I always miss Amir, unless it's that horrible Forrest Gump atrocity you made me watch a trailer for, which I refuse to acknowledge as canon. It's like Hodorowski's The Tusk. I don't count it.
Okay.
You're like, what? They're like Tusk? No, El Topo.
Tusk or Rainbow Thief, Heather? Which one?
Santa Sangre.
Okay.
Heather refuses to acknowledge the Amir Khan Forrest Gump film that came out last year.
It was a dark-sided lie that Chris.
Hey, I didn't make it up. It is a studio sanctioned remake. But no Amir Khan in this movie. We're talking about a film that, like I mentioned in the intro, Mike had sent me the clip of Rajinikanth dancing multiple times, but now we're here. We're talking about 1995's South Indian film, Muthu.
நீங்க எல்லாரும் போய் அந்த பொண்ணு தூக்கிட்டு எங்க ஆட்டு பொங்கலாக்கு வந்து சேருங்கிறேன்.
கண்ணி வச்சதும் நீதானா கண்ணி போட்டு நீ கப்பம் கட்டு காவன் சொன்னானா
So the film is directed by K.S. Ravikumar, and it stars the one, the only, like Mike mentioned, superstar, Rajni, otherwise known as Rajinikanth. He is, again, for those of you in the know, I'm going to be Indian-splaining or mansplaining or whatever the fuck you would call this, but Rajinikanth is the South Indian equivalent of, well, Amir Khan or SRK. He is a massive South Indian star. And like Heather mentioned, it should be pretty obvious why. This movie is he was a big actor at the time, but this is like the movie. This is the one of the Rajinikanth performances, at least from the 90s. And he plays the titular Muthu, a charioteer working for Raja, who is a zamindar, who's kind of like a wealthy landowner in India. And we're going to talk all about it. Spoilers. There's a lot to get into. There's twists and turns, and man, there's about a third, or like a halfway through the movie, it takes a left turn all of a sudden, comes back after a while, but this movie really goes all over the place, and we are going to talk about it. But Mike, I'm going to set it over to you first, because this is your opportunity finally talking about Muthu, a movie I don't know if we ever thought we would talk about it, but here we are. So Mike, break it down for me. Let's talk a little bit about Muthu.
Oh boy. Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. Muthu is kind of the head of all of the servants for this guy. And the guy, the landowner, very nice guy. He has one vice though, and that's going to see plays all the time. He keeps Muthu out until like 4 a.m. Muthu's exhausted. He doesn't have time to do much other than take this towel around his neck and kind of flip it around and stuff. Keeps everybody else in line with that towel or with his finger. Man, when he raises his finger, you know you are in trouble. So, yeah, and there's this whole thing of trying to get the zamindar married, and is it going to be the uncle's daughter, the horrible uncle with the big horns on his car and everything? And I just kept thinking, that can't be sacred at all. This seems like a really bad thing to have animal parts on your car. And he's got animal stuff in his house too. He's a dick. We end up meeting an actress that Muthu doesn't like at all, but his boss is smitten. And then they end up getting lost. And this is the first time, Chris, I've ever experienced this whole thing of language barrier in a movie. And I know that there's so many dialects inside of India, but this is the first time I've had a character other than, the English to Indian dialect stuff like we ran across with Triple R. But this is the first time where I've had one Indian person not be able to speak to another Indian person, much less ask them to give him a hug and a kiss.
Which goes on for a long time.
He's not that clever when it comes to why people are smacking him for asking directions.
But he's just so charming. He's so effortlessly charming. You almost don't want to slap him.
No, I mean, and plus that hair, like
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's got this coif that is like the thing that I thought of was a Dragon Ball Z character.
Huh.
And I was asked which one, and I said, which one has the best hair? And my husband told me, well, there's at least 3. And I'm like, yes, because it's like that epic. It's that epic. This movie, and I feel like I'm somebody who can, say with some authority, I've seen some wild, woolly movies in my time. I've dedicated a good part of my film writing, on the outskirts of cinema. From art house to grindhouse, always looking for something that I haven't seen before, something that's got that kind of intangible element. This movie, holy shit. If it was a pastry, it would be, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the pie caken. It's this thing, the pie caken. My parents actually got this they ordered one for Thanksgiving, and it's like a pumpkin pie, a pecan pie, and a spice cake. And it sounds like a lot. It sounds like it should not exist. But then when you bite it, you're so grateful it exists. Even though you're like, I just need to savor this because this is nothing somebody needs every day or even more than once a year. Muthu was like that for me. This is a pie cake of a film. It's got every sort of strata that you can imagine in a fun action romance film. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this movie. And I love it for it.
Yeah. Yeah. The intro for this movie really doesn't give away what this movie is going to end up being.
No.
And I'm not even sure the movie knows what it wants to be in a lot of ways. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And I think in a lot of ways, I will say this much just right here at the top. The fact that this is on Netflix is fantastic because this is a really good example, I think, of just what most people think an Indian cinema film is. This is what people really think and again, this isn't a Bollywood movie. This is from South India. So this is a Tollywood movie. So this is what people think of when they think of Indian cinema, right? I think the 3 of us can agree.
Yeah.
Big, over the top, everything is nuts. Everything is wild. Musical numbers in this film are, again, the music itself is fine. I mean, it's really good. Maybe not the best being some of the stuff from DDLJ, but
I don't know. A.R. Rahman's pretty darn good, man. I really like him.
I know that's the thing. That's the problem. It's but then I come back to the expectation when you watch something like this is being so hardcore fulfilled by every piece of this movie. It is a lot, but in a lot of ways, I think that's when people think of Indian cinema. That's what they want, is something like this, which is a lot. Like you just said, Mike, the music is amazing. It's actively some of the best music outside of DDLJ and other things that I've seen Indian cinema wise. It has some of the best music I've seen, period.
I mean, it reminds me of older entertainment from the 30s, 40s, and 50s here in the States, where it's okay, there's action, there's adventure, there's comedy, there's songs, there's just all of these things are all shoved into this movie. And you just go 5-10 minutes and now we're in a different area. Now we're over here. But it all flows. I mean, the whole idea of okay, at one point, Muthu and the actress that he gets involved in, the one that his boss likes and that he ends up falling in love with, and she falls in love with him, they are on the run, and there's this amazing chariot race that goes on with just all of these guys in these little 2-wheeled chariots just flipping the fuck all over the place. And I'm just how are these people not dead? This kind of reminds me of almost a Jackie Chan movie with the cars coming through the village type of thing. And just these guys just being propelled off of these little chariots, and I'm just like, this is amazing. But it's right there in the smack dab in the middle of the movie, and it sure does work right before like a whole French comedy of manners type of thing where everybody's going to the garden at 10 o'clock to meet up with their secret lover, and 30 people end up seeing this note and they all show up at the same time.
Well, and this is the Indian masala film thing. I mean, we haven't talked about it a lot on a Bollywood Cinema Club. It's come up a couple times. I mean, it's come up. I think we've talked about it Indian Cinema Month when we've done it before, but we actually tend to not watch these movies for the most part, only because
the audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, I, your wonky yet affable host Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family and available wherever you get your podcasts.
they are kind of all the same, not in a bad way, but they're all kind of doing the same thing. I mean, Muthu is not alone in what it's doing, and it was so popular, it was remade, and it's technically based on another thing. It's based on something else to begin with. Mm-hmm. And you know, again, like these kinds of stories are so uniquely Indian, but the way that they're being told, that like that action, comedy, drama fusing, that's what makes this Indian cinema. But for me, I feel like while I appreciate it, is kind of narrow, right? It's narrow, it's broad, but it is narrow. Does that make sense? Am I making sense here?
Yeah.
Yes. Sure. Have some. Yeah. It's just like, because I don't know, like when you watch a movie like this, you know what you're getting. It never really strays outside of those boundaries, but for Western film goers, this is a pretty big boundary, is what it feels like.
Oh yeah.
It's all the boundaries, and right. This film is delirious. I felt delirious watching it, but I enjoyed that. It's like, because how often, especially because, and the thing I've been learning with doing like in, you know, investigating the world of investigating, what kind of pretentious professor am I over here delving into the Indian cinema worlds with Chris and Mike? I got to watch my very first one with both of you with Rangila, which was so much fun. Is that typically a lot of these films are almost 3 hours long. They're long films. But unlike watching, so a lot of like Hollywood movies are that length now. So I don't think that should be a problem for most Westerners at this point. No. But unlike those films, I tend to not be like, okay, yeah, you know, with Indian cinema, and I've, you know, with Chris, every single film we've done has been different from this one, different from each other. With Muthu, it's almost like a live action anime, but Hollywood, but totally, like I completely see that, Mike. It has that same kind of like, and I kind of talked about this with the last film me and Chris talked about with Thugs of Hindostan, which is a totally different movie, but there seems to be like, sometimes you just see somebody make a film and you sense that old school love of just, hey, let's make a story. Let's just, you know, it doesn't feel like so cold and calculated. Like sometimes I kind of feel watching even like some of the better made like Hollywood product sometimes, and I'm not saying everything, you know, I'm not naive. Everything from like the past is great and was made for pure reasons. I mean, money is unfortunately, you know, always been the motivation for most things in this world. But I don't know, like, and with Muthu especially, there's just so much like zestiness about it. It's like everything is just, people are having fun making this movie. And I was genuinely though worried for both those horses and the stuntmen. But I believe in that chariot racing you alluded to. there's a stunt that made me laugh out loud where Muthu punches a guy and the guy kind of flips in the air and he lands in full splits like a gymnast. He lands in the splits, like bam, like groin is on the ground, woo, like that. And like, I have never seen that in my life. I've never seen a fight where a guy flips the air, and that's wonderful. I will say I am glad our landlady's very nice. I'm glad I don't have to like do a musical number in her honor though, because that seems like a lot. Okay. And there's several landlords in this country that deserve a Gigi Allen musical number and not something as loving. That's what we see in movies.
It reminds me a lot of the Hong Kong cinema that we watched last year. Was that last year? Right? Yeah, the John Woo movies. Like A Better Tomorrow, like that. It's like melodrama for melodrama's sake and totally over the top. I mean, when we talked about A Better Tomorrow, the whole thing with the dad getting shot in front of the two of them and he's dying. And it's like, oh my fucking God. So just melancholy and just over the top. And this is the exact same thing, right? It's scratching that same itch, I feel like.
100%. Yeah, I can really see that. And especially, you talked about that flashback and we get really emotional in there. And I'm very surprised that they don't have Rajinikanth listed as two roles. I guess that's to keep the suspense that it actually isn't him playing his own father in this movie, which is just like the most obvious thing in the world to me.
Who could it be? Someone else who doesn't look anything like him, except it does, and they're never on screen together.
But they talked. No, they talked. There's a moment by the tree where they
one time does not count. They made it. I was gonna say, like, they made it look convincing, but I also didn't go back and rewind it to see the strings because I'm sure the strings are very obvious.
The only thing interesting was him playing the baby version of himself.
Right.
Oh, God. Rajinikanth, as you've never seen him before.
Yeah, they just de-age him.
Oh.
It's like Meet Rajinikanth. It's like that Eddie Murphy movie where they go inside of it's like robots in his head.
Oh, and it's all just him.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like no, it's like him and SRK. That movie would kill. I would fucking watch this movie. It's like SRK and Amitabh and throw Amir Khan in there. Give him and Hrithik Roshan. I would watch this movie.
You're so right about the whole idea of this being like anime too, because of especially when it comes to the acting troupe, and you get the guys like Vanda Velu, who I've seen in other movies before, and he's got that really long hair in this, and he just has this goofy look on his face. And then the whole thing where it's like Muthu's second in command is trying to woo this girl, and she keeps having these dreams of her real suitor, and it ends up being this goofball from the acting troupe. And I do like after a while where the guy's just like cut his hair while he's sleeping. We don't even get that scene, but then he just shows up in the next scene. It's just like, my hair's all gone.
Yeah, well, it would have been like a wig reveal from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, yeah.
If we had done, when that character showed up, I'm like, okay, he's in the drama, he's in the play, it's going to be a wig. But then he keeps showing up and he still has that hair.
Still has the hair? Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And that's the thing, like, because they have some of that very broad style you see in a lot of animes where there's always that one character that's like, wah! And that's my anime voice, by the way. And, but speaking of which, his Muthu's second in command is wicked, like the most annoying anime style sidekick. Like that voice, I was like, it's like if Tattoo from Fantasy Island snorted angel dust. It was he was a lot. I was like, girl, get away from him. Anytime he started macking on that poor girl, and then I falls in love with acting wig dude, and I was like, oh, thank God. Like,
yeah. He didn't deserve the girl by the end of the film, and I was so glad for that he didn't get her. So,
he was awful. He was, I mean, not like uncle awful, which I was so glad when they said sister-in-law, because at first I'm like, what are they trying to marry? Do this incest thing? Like, this is Thrones.
that was kind of odd at first. It's like, wait a second. Oh, okay, in-law. All right. Whew. I mean, this whole thing of like, yeah, a little close. I mean, this whole thing of like brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and just the way this all plays out. I mean, there's so much like castle intrigue type of stuff to this, as far as like who's father, whose daughter, and all these things, and what are the relationships and what happened in the past and how does that affect the present. I mean, that really takes us into that third act, but it's like you get that sprinkled throughout the whole movie. Even though this thing is almost 3 hours long, it is so, in my opinion, well crafted, and it just does have that feel. You know, Chris, you said this is a remake of another story, and then it has been remade at least once, if not multiple times. I think kind of the thing to do would be to make it in one language, one area of India, and then kind of go around and make it in others. So I think we saw that with, like, I think Don had several different versions of it before they started to do the remakes. And this feels like that. And it just feels like a very well-worn story. This whole idea of, you know, I mean, it almost feels Shakespearean, where it's like, you know, I can't get married until my sister gets married. And this one, it's, I can't get married until my boss gets married. I can't take a wife until my boss finds a wife. I really want him to find a wife because I'm Rajinikanth. I'm 40 years old. I'm playing a lot younger than 40 years old, but at times I look like I'm 40 years old, and my boss looks a lot younger than I do.
You beat me to it. I was going to say the exact same thing about it feeling Shakespearean, down to the Rosencrantz and Guildensternian acting troupe that is just walking through this entire movie. You know,
totally. I kept waiting for them to put on a play and explain the situation to the people that didn't get it yet.
Well, and that for me, I think does kind of cut to something that we've kind of talked about. I think we talked about it a little bit with Thugs of Hindostan, Heather, on that episode of the Bollywood Cinema Club coming down the pipeline for that show. I think this movie is overly complicated, though. I think it kind of gets wrapped in on itself a little too tightly. You mentioned the castle intrigue stuff. It is interesting, but...
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface-level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Deaf Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.
Couldn't tell if it comes too late in the movie, if it's revealed, maybe it's revealed essentially at the beginning of the third act. I feel like it would have benefited coming maybe in the middle of the second act. Because again, we are introduced to Rajinikanth, like you mentioned, twice. And when we see him as his father, like you said, they can't really hide that it's him very well. Mm-hmm. So they do their best, but again, we know it's him. So we're just sitting wondering, when are they going to bring back that guy? They're going to bring that back at some point. It's going to have to come back. And I feel like they shouldn't have waited so long. And I think that just kind of ties into this movie feeling maybe like 20 minutes too long, 30 minutes too long. I think that, again, with some of these other movies that we've seen, I think they just want to do everything. And sometimes it's okay to want to do everything and to do everything. But I think in this case, maybe doing everything resulted in, I think, the pace of the movie just kind of slowing down, I think, points. But again, like, it's just some of the characters just don't serve a purpose in the movie either. It's just there's a lot going on, almost too much, frankly.
Well, it is weird. Oh,
I was just to say, I don't really mind. I kind of like all the twists and turns and all that stuff with this one. I can see where you're coming from, though, definitely.
Yeah. No, I mean, objectively, I mean, there are times where I feel like some of it could have been trimmed a little bit, like, but is it a deal breaker? Absolutely not. Does it make the film any less fun? Hell no. Some of it, honestly, in some ways kind of lends to this sort of charming lunacy with the proceedings. Like the whole, like, this weird subplot where you find out the actress, like, was she's an orphan, and she was having to stay with her sister, and her sister's super abusive brother-in-law who murders her sister in front of her, and I guess gets away with it.
Well, she's dead? Oh, she's dead?
Just holding her head down in the while he's like making out with the chick, right? He's got like a side piece there.
I mean, I was like, is this another move?
Yeah.
Total whiplash.
Was it supposed to be funny? I couldn't tell.
I don't think so. I mean,
no.
It's just weird, right? Because
it's intentionally sad, but it's almost like, I don't know. It's like watching
so over the top.
It's gallows humor. That's what it's. He goes like, she's like, no, you're drowning her, and he's like, oh, she's dead. It's like, yeah, she's clearly dead. Yeah. I don't know. I laughed because it felt like the movie wanted me to laugh. Maybe I'm just fucked up, Maybe I'm just fucked up. Maybe that's what it is. But
I kind of thought he was sexually assaulting that woman too. I'm sorry.
No,
she didn't seem that willing, and she's freaking out because she's like, "You're gonna kill this poor woman too." Like she's, this guy's like just awful. And on top of that, he wears like a see-through red fishnet shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And Vernon Wells.
Well, and Tom Waits. Because at Cold Feet, Tom Waits, it's like, it works. You're like, yeah, it's Tom Waits. He's a ladies' man who's a hitman. But with this guy, it's just like, oh, it's not. You're just, no. But then he actually comes into play briefly. And it's like, what? And the uncle is so terrible. Like I mean, at least we get to see Muthu like whoop up her. What is it with uncles in this movie? I think about it because her uncle-in-law, I guess, was like, he murdered her sister. Then you've got the landlord's uncle, who's also like just horrible. So is the moral of the story, don't trust uncles?
I mean, it is very Hamlet to your point. So
yeah,
the whole thing of, the uncle that wants to sleep with the mother. Luckily, the mom is off limits in this one. But
thank God
for that.
She was so lovely. Like,
she is
this woman who just, I just loved how she was like, these are not my slaves. These are not my slaves. These are my children.
Oh yeah. Class difference go up the wazoo in this. The whole thing how the uncle doesn't want to apologize to Muthu, and he's just like, I'm not going to apologize to a servant. We're put on earth to be better than these people. It's like, whoa, mister. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the entire song, the opening song, is all about who the servants are and who is the real master. The master, the master is God. There's spoilers, everybody.
Oh boy,
the master is Jesus, or I guess not for those who are Westerns would be Jesus, but the God Oruvan. That song is amazing. First off, like we mentioned, everything is amazing about the music, but I think it does set the tone for the theme of the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like the kind of Shakespearean nature. It's like this, everything's connected. It's like in Kuch Kuch Hota Hai or K3G, where it's like you go to meet and bring your brother back, and he runs into you, and it's him and his wife and his wife's sister, and his wife's sister falls in love with you. It's all faded by the stars. It's like, I appreciate that. It's just every time though.
Mm-hmm. I really appreciate that he does a great William Shatner impersonation in that opening. How you have the three Rajinikanths and they sing to each other.
The triptych of Rajinikanth.
Good. Yeah.
I legit was like, oh my God, this the three-way shot of him singing is epic. I love it so much. And the lighting, it's got like good lighting on it. Oh my God. He is, I mean, this was my first film seeing him in it, Rajinikanth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. You just call him Rajni even if you want. Superstar Rajni.
Superstar Rajni, yeah.
Well, he helped me move a couch if I call him that.
He might show up with his pickup truck. Yeah.
And with him, he would just like balance it on one finger. I mean, that's the thing. He does have very selective super strength and superpowers throughout this whole thing. And I'm there for it. I'm just like, this guy could take out an army of 100 or get smacked down by this uncle character. It really doesn't matter. He's here, and I'm here for him.
And the scarf sound effect. You and I were kind of texting about that a little bit before. It was like, reminded me of like, it's like they took the entire sound effects libraries from the Shaw Brothers and then amped that up somehow. Like it was just like, he's like whipping it around and he makes it look cool. Like I feel like a lesser actor, it would just be the dumbest shit you've ever seen. But Rajda just does it with this like fun ferocity, and you're just there for it. You're like, okay, I am in for this ride wholesale.
He owns it. I mean, that's the thing about Rajinikanth and Amir Khan and Shah Rukh Khan. Like they just own it. When they're on screen, they own it. They own entire. There is no question as to whose scene it is. And Rajinikanth, even in. Honestly, it kind of blows my mind. This movie came out in 1995. It feels like it came out in 1975 in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
But like you mentioned, Mike, he's how old when this movie came out? Like 40. And then the movie original Indian cinema film that I saw him in was in the mid 10s or the late teens, early 10s, and he was playing young there, and he's like 60 at that point. He's playing like 40 and he has a full head of hair there. And I mean, because I'm pretty sure he's bald at this point.
From his IMDb picture, yeah.
I think he might be bald in 95.
Oh, even in 95?
I don't know if this is his real hair. I don't know.
I mean, he does get to wear that cool old man wig and beard and everything, which is, threw me completely off.
Did it actually? There's no way.
No.
There's no way. Is this like a Superman Clark Kent thing? It's the hair is gray. The hair is just gray, and it's like it's a different person.
Yeah, look at you're podcasting with a different person right now.
Wait,
don't worry, I'm back. Yeah,
a pair of glasses.
I don't understand where it go for a second. Well, it's weird. It's weird in the first Indian cinema film that I saw Rajinikanth in. He plays a double role there too.
Right.
He plays himself and he plays the robot that he makes. So, I mean, it's a lesser ask here. I don't know how I feel. Obviously, and again, having watched a fair amount of Indian cinema now, like they do the flashbacks and like time jumps a lot in these movies. I know Mike and Heather, you've seen it too in some of these movies. They do it a lot. And I get why they do it, obviously, and it makes sense in this movie, but I almost feel like the stuff with the woman's sister, she's dead. You could just take that out of the movie. I would almost say you could take the flashback out or like trim it down. But at the same time, like it is an important part of establishing the character. It's weird where this movie goes. Like, right? Like that whole thing with that woman's sister dying is such a weird moment where the movie kind of takes like a hard right turn. And I mean, yeah, we've had chariot scene chase and multiple essentially kung fu scenes. Like, I don't know how else to describe them, but that scene kind of takes the movie and turns it on its head in a really weird way. Because the movie tonally up until that point is pretty beat.
Well, it's funny because he becomes like the mini boss, the brother-in-law that drowned this poor woman's sister.
Right.
He becomes the mini boss that the uncle then brings in at the end to be like, okay, now you take care of Muthu so I don't get my hands dirty. Mm-hmm. And Muthu gets to beat the shit out of him because he really shouldn't be able to, and I don't think he does, touch the uncle. I think the uncle is still in such a cast that you couldn't lay your hands on him, whereas you can beat the shit out of this other guy. So dramatically it works, but I know where you're coming from. Like they could have just had her say, I'm an orphan too, and not shown any of her past. I'm an orphan. I got picked up by this troop when, they passed through my town, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. But I think it adds a nice little thing where you get to see Muthu kick the shit out of this guy, which was kind of nice.
Yes. And I also I noticed how a lot of the female characters, when they cry, it's like normal tears.
Oh yeah.
reminds me of like this. I don't know if you guys have seen that British show, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Oh, hell yes, I have.
I love it so much. Chris, have you seen it?
I have not.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
But I know who Matthew Berry is.
Oh, I love him so much. and that was Dark Place was the origin of my Matt Berry love, which strong to this day. There's a scene where Garth Marenghi's character like Douglas corrects Liz, and like they hard cut back to her and her makeup's all smeary and she's instantly crying. Think of that. I'm like, man, these women are just instant like tears, drama, but again, it's kind of just part of the sort of like over the topness of it, and it works even with the weird tonal, like, and the flashback has some tonal whiplash too, because you have the,
oh my god, boy, doesn't it,
the castle drama descriptor, which I have not heard that in so long. It's like so perfect for this, and I love it, and I'm probably going to now apply it to things that it doesn't apply to. but nobody correct me on that. Let me live my illusion. But yeah, I mean, like you have this whole thing with the treachery of this cousin, and he ends up committing suicide, and you see him hanging.
Oh boy, yeah.
And I mean, that's fucked up because the violence up to that point, I mean, and Chris, I see why you laughed, because even with like the drowning of the sister, it's so weird and over the top. It doesn't feel real. Like
there's no precedent for something that grim in the movie up until that point. Everything else has been pretty, like you guys have mentioned, Shaw Brothers, just like fun violence, slapsticky, Buster Keaton adjacent stuff.
Yeah,
now it's like, this woman is just being fucking drowned. Like, okay, I guess so. Like, all right.
So that's like, whoa, this is weird. On a side note, I do love the Muthu's father in his old form, that laugh, where he kind of sounds a little bit like, Jeffrey Holder in the Bond films. Like, I can't do it, but
the uncola nut. Yeah.
Yes. Like I sound like Yoda now. Never mind. Or Jabba. Such a great laugh.
I like in the flashback. Not only do we have flashback, we also see in interior head, like what you would call that, like a dream sequence, right? But how would we have? Who's telling us about this happening?
Right.
I was just trying to figure out the logic of that scene. So we go back in time and we see Muthu's dad, who looks just like, it just is Rajinikanth.
Yeah.
It's just like, maybe his hair is a little dark. Okay. It's not as
he's got the 3 lines across his forehead there.
Right. I think they have a little bit of silver.
Yeah,
like
they did.
Streaks on it.
So Muthu finds out that Muthu's dad finds out that they've kind of sold him up the river, and he brings his brother-in-law in and says, "Hey, I know you did it. I'm going to shoot you with a shotgun at point blank range."
Mm-hmm.
But that never happened, correct? That was in the brother-in-law's head.
That's right. That was his dream. That's his wish that he had, was to murder that guy. And you're right. Where would we know that from? Because I guess it's the aunt the mom telling the story, because she's the only person other than Muthu's dad that knows the truth.
Right. It's just very weird. Again, like,
it is weird. Yeah.
The movie just wraps itself into this like weird thing of having a kind of mythology to these characters that I just, honest to God, feel like they should have taken that flashback, put it at the beginning of the movie, and just had, I don't know, then it's a completely different movie, because that it's almost all predicated on you don't know who Muthu is. Right. But it's like so abundantly clear that Muthu is an important character that it almost, honestly, I think the flashback almost in a way doesn't matter. I don't think it serves the narrative, frankly, in a lot of ways. He's already such a badass. Like, what does it matter that his dad is the Zamnadar actually? Right. Like, does that actually serve the narrative in any way? I don't think so.
It's a little almost like Prince and the Pauper-esque, but that would be if we didn't know that they had switched places. I'm trying to think, what is it? Like I'm trying to think, it feels very like Victor Hugo type of thing, where it's like, oh, these two are actually, the one is actually rich, the other one's poor.
Like Man in the Iron Mask type.
Kinda, yeah. And it's just like, oh, okay. But they don't know. I mean, the Zamindar is just like, yeah, I'm living my life. I'm a pretty good guy. I treat everybody pretty well. I just want to get laid. I just want to have this actress. And then he gets, justifiably upset when he's just like, hey, my servant is, not banging this chick, but he's the one, she's fallen in love with him. He's really the one I want. And he feels justifiably betrayed and all this. But luckily, the class stuff doesn't enter into that. But it is a nice little twist where it's like, well, actually, Muthu's the landowner, and you know how well he's going to treat all these people.
Yeah.
And see, that for me, I think is the more interesting part of the movie is everything between Meena and Rajinikanth. Meena playing Rangan, the female love interest for Rajinikanth. It's not SRK and Kajol good, but I mean, very few things are in terms of charisma between the two actors. But
do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies. Inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
There should have been more of that, because that was really good, and the two of them on screen was really entertaining. I feel like, honestly, that whole time where they're kind of out in the wild together in Kerala, I feel like there should have been just more of that. Just give me that as a movie. Give me an entire second act of that, because the fact that they spend so much time on this, like you said, kind of class cast twist, I mean, what does it matter? Like, ultimately, he doesn't even want it. Seemingly at the end of the movie, he doesn't even want it. He's like, I'm still like the real master is God, not me. Like, even by the end of the movie, it doesn't seem like he wants it. So I would have loved more of the two of them, because it is ultimately, at the end of the day, it feels like still more or less a love story between the two of them.
Yeah, and she does a really good job of being so annoying at first and then charming. And it's like, okay, like, I don't ever hold her being annoying at the beginning against her later on in the film. And, once she gets to the property, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, she's a really good character.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she was great. And just there's this little interaction they have on the stairwell when they're both back, and she's like playing kind of footsie with him, and his reaction to it was so hilarious and kind of sexy. Like, and feet are kind of gross to me, but it was just like, I don't know, just their little interplay was so charming, and they do have really good chemistry. And it hits me, Chris, we need to do a movie with SRK and this actress, because I haven't seen any SRK.
Oh, I know. SRK is like, I don't know. This comes up often when we talk about Indian cinema, and kind of like the level of kind of reverence for these actors. And Rajinikanth is kind of in a class of his own, because SRK and Amir Khan and some of the other actors in India, and at least in Bollywood cinema, they kind of are sharing the spotlight. Rajinikanth is kind of like the preeminent South Indian star. And so he is just, I don't know, like, you want to see a Shah Rukh Khan movie similar to, I would say Rajinikanth and Shah Rukh Khan are the same in like terms of like their ability to command the screen. I think SRK and Rajinikanth are in classes of their own, but they're similar in their ability to command the screen. And I like an SRK movie, I think, would feel very similar to this in a lot of ways, where you're just like, you're taken by the actor almost more than anything else, what's going on screen.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing that's really like on this sort of new journey for me with Indian cinema. And Muthu's a great example of this, is that, you're having like, it's nice to see newer films. I mean, I know this is 95, but this is still modern. And, and Chris, and we've done newer films than this, but where the actors have that pull, because I feel like a lot of like sort of conventionally attractive lead actors that we have over here are a little more bland. and I know that's just personal taste, but they just like, it's like when you watch an old Hollywood film, every star can be, you can tell the difference between like a Cary Grant and, you know, a Humphrey Bogart. You can tell the difference between a Marlene Dietrich and an Ava Gardner. You know, like every single star is somebody they're distinctive. And I feel like I'm seeing that with like Bollywood cinema. Like I don't think I've ever seen an actor quite like Rajinikanth, and he's great. Like, and he's got that it factor that I usually kind of almost more and more just associate more with like with character actors I love. Because a lot of times I think at some point in mainstream American cinema, the it factor kind of went more and more towards character actors as far as having that gravitational pull, where the lead actors, I call it the Ryan O'Neal syndrome, where the lead actors get a little more bland, you know, and he's had good movies. I'm not hating on him, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you have an actor that's really magnetic, that alone can kind of help you forgive, you know, and get through certain things where, yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but who cares? You're getting to watch this guy strut his stuff, kick ass, do these amazing numbers, you know, play his own father in flashbacks. I mean, it's a gift. It's a gift. And you feel like you get a gift when you see like performances like this.
And the best thing, one of the craziest things about Rajinikanth is what he was doing before he became an actor. And it feels like it would have been a shame that this man would have just been a bus driver for the rest of his life.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Right. Just
what is that
train
story?
Conductor. Yeah, like whatever, man. Like,
oh man, cool. Can you imagine getting that magnetic bus driver? Every bus driver I feel like I've ever had in my life ranged from probably has several DUIs but is nice to like, okay, this person is gonna lose their shit, and I hope I'm not on the bus. It's like, I know there are nice bus drivers out there, but my personal experience with them is very patchy. I can't imagine getting on a bus and it's Rajinikanth.
Just hanging out, just sitting there, just ready. And again, like that, I don't know. It's weird. Like watching this movie, I'm more interested to see what Rajinikanth is doing on screen, less even the plot of the movie. I mean, there's, like we mentioned, there's so much stuff. Just there's a chariot race and there's, you know, like multiple action scenes throughout the movie, but then there's back and forth between the characters. That's so well done that it is all over the place, but not in a way that it feels like it doesn't know what it's doing. And that's the other thing that you do have to kind of do with these kinds of movies, is you really have to wrangle everything in, because even though they do have this rather broad palette where they can go anywhere and do anything, they can have people in a land speed chase fucking chariots one scene, and then in the next scene they can have, I don't know, anything but that, because they only do that once, obviously, but they do it for so long that it almost feels like it's from another movie. Given that you can do all of this stuff in this kind of weird area of the genre, the fact that this movie still works and it's 3 hours almost is, again, testament to the quality of this filmmaking and knowing exactly what you want when you're setting out to make it. Because there are how many pitfalls in making just a horror movie, let alone a movie that has 8 different genres all at once.
Yeah.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was just looking up Rajinikanth's filmography, that he started 20 years before this, and he was on the poster pretty quickly. It's like within just a few roles, he was starting to get listed on the poster, if not like the only man on the poster.
Yeah. And you know what? He started in 1975, and he's filming a movie right now, and he's the lead.
Yeah. It's wild.
That's awesome.
He's like 72. Actors in this country don't work to that age, not at the level that he's at, not the expectation that he's being asked to deliver at, which is a fucking shame. I mean, to your point, Heather, but honestly, a lot of this feels like more than anything else is a rejection in a lot of ways of the samification of our media. Like, you know, things didn't used to be 2.5 hours. Marvel movies made it popular to be 2 to 2.5 hours. Now the expectation is, like you mentioned at the top of this episode, everything's going to be 2 hours or 2 hours plus. And now everything is. And fuck, some movies are closer to 3 hours than they are to 2 now, even. Again, as far as I'm concerned, paying $30 for 1 or 2 people to go see a movie, I need more than fucking an hour and a half. If that is going to be an expectation that I am going to somehow financially weigh those two things. That's the thing about this that has always been there with Indian cinema. It was an event. It was like going to the theater, like the theater of, you know, of Shakespeare. This is that expectation has to be fulfilled in a similar way with Indian cinema. And for me, it tends to always do that. But for Westerners, I guess we wanted an hour and a half long movie, which at the same time, there is something to be said for that. But there is something to be said for 2.5 hour movie or 3 hour movie. Like if that's the length of the narrative that you're trying to tell, and that's how long you think you need to tell your story in its entirety, go right ahead.
Yeah. Of course, granted, I mean, like with American cinema, I mean, the theater going experience used to be a lot more epic. And I mean, the early theaters of yore, like these beautiful, just like palatial type theaters. I'm talking like 20s, 30s era, but movies were a lot cheaper. So, I mean, movies were cheaper even just like 10, 20 years ago than they are now. I mean, now it's like, I mean, I haven't literally gone to the theater to watch a movie since before COVID. And part of that was safety for some of those years, but part of it's also just like there hasn't been anything that's played locally. And granted, I live in Arkansas, so I mean, if I had access to like Lincoln Center in New York or something like that, I probably would be going out more. But there hasn't been anything like on a mainstream level where I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to spend, like you said, Chris, $20 or $30. If this played, if Muthu, like, hey, we're bringing Muthu to a local theater in Arkansas, I'd be like, fuck yes, take my $30 because you are getting like your bang for your buck. Like, and I would say that actually with every Bollywood film I've watched. I know this isn't technically Bollywood, but every Indian cinema film I've watched with you guys and with Chris, worth it. Like, I would not feel gypped in any sort of capacity. And I don't,
not in any way, frankly.
No.
Like you go and it feels like you're getting an entire thing. Like, do I need a sequel to Triple R? No. Will I take one? Yes, but they told that story in its entirety. I don't need anything else. Like a movie like Brahmastra is so weird because at the end of it, they're like, there will be more. There will be more. That expectation is a Western thing, not an Indian cinema thing. They're not going out and making sequels to things. They make spiritual sequels like K3G and Kuch Hota Hai are essentially spiritual sequels to DDLJ, but they're not actually the same people playing the same characters. So it's weird. There's this weird cultural expectations that are not being fulfilled. Like you mentioned with Dawn, right? The Amitabh movie, which you and I talked about. Rajinikanth is in the remake of that movie doing the exact same thing. Like, and it's the South Indian version. Like, we don't really have that in the States. We don't have an equivalent of that even. That's a hard thing for us to understand even. Because nobody's making a movie in Atlanta, Georgia, and then making one in California. Like, it's not a thing.
No. The closest thing I think
when
of
we
is,
get so bent out of shape about remakes and stuff, it's like, I'm sorry, Heather, I think I'm on a lag.
You are fine. I was just going to say, stop killing my childhood. That's my favorite whenever something gets remade and they're like, you're raping my childhood. And it's like, you still have your old movie. I mean, I'm cynical about most remakes too, but life is really short. So I don't really want to expend my energy on like, wow, one more angry person on Twitter. Cool. I'd rather not.
No, I'm with you. I mean, Indian cinema, there's a lot of remaking of things, even just from one language to another. Like you mentioned, Mike, Tamil, and then they go to, and then they do it in Hindi. So there doesn't seem to be this big issue with, oh, don't remake it. Or it's like, some things are sacred, but I think to your point, Heather, like sacred cows, go out into the field and slaughter them. Like, I'm a vegetarian most of the time, but even I don't care about the sacred cows. Like, fuck them.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's more of a, like, you think going back to old Hollywood, both in terms of having, like, occasionally they would make, like with Dracula, like at night, they were using that set in 1931 to make the Spanish language version. I just recently watched Carl Dreyer's Vampire from 1932, and they made a version of that film while making it that was German language, then English, I think a French language. And so it was a little more common back then, but also in the old days with Hollywood, look how many times The Star Is Born has been remade. And I mean, and that's not, I'm not even talking Streisand. Like, it was made 3 times before the Streisand version, much less Lady Gaga. It's like, that's not abnormal. It's never, nothing is new. People get all, anything people get bent out of shape about, nowadays, read a book, or at the very least do a quick Google search.
Oh, reading?
I know.
Reading?
It's fundamental.
I know. Yeah, but yet so disappointingly rare. You gotta be able to know how to read to watch Indian cinema, folks.
Yeah, I know, it's a shame.
Yeah, what a shame you have to read.
Oh, God forbid.
But you don't have to look that hard. You don't have to look that hard for this movie, though, which I do appreciate. It is right there next to Stranger Things season 4 on Netflix. It's just on Netflix.
This was one of my very first Indian films that I ever saw. And I was hooked after this. I was just like, yeah, give me more of this. Finding movies like Muthu where the character is just so much larger than life. Luckily, it is not that difficult in Bollywood cinema. So, and I appreciate you, Chris, for turning me on to more of these movies and more of these actors where it's just like, oh, okay, there are more superstars than just Rajinikanth.
And they all are so different, but yet all kind of, and I genuinely don't know how I would feel if I met one of them. Like, I don't get starstruck. I mean, more than I think either one of y'all do, frankly, given that we have interviewed and spoken with people in the industry. But I think if Amir Khan came up to me on the street, I probably have a hard time saying anything. And one of my friends put it very kindly to me when I was in Texas. He said, what does someone in the Midwest who's white know about Indian cinema? And I said, you know what? What do you know about Indian cinema? And stop that conversation dead in its tracks. But my point being, I don't know if you didn't know who these people were and you saw them on the street, I think you would even be able to tell that they have an air about them. But I would get so starstruck meeting one of these people. That is the effect that they have on the people who are watching these movies, to the point where Rajinikanth has like a crazy amount of fans in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
As you do.
They dubbed this movie in Japanese and released it as Muthu, the Maharaja or something like that.
The dancing Maharaja. Yeah.
There we go. Wow.
Yeah. It was the highest grossing Indian film in Japan. And there was some YouTube video of, I think it was Vice maybe, about this guy who's like, come into my apartment and check out my Rajinikanth display of all this Rajinikanth stuff. I don't know if I don't hear people doing that in the States anymore. That is an old Hollywood thing. When people would go see movies, again, I don't like this as an example, and I think we've brought it up on Bollywood Cinema Club a couple times, but feels like maybe one of those last people might be Tom Cruise. As terrible as that is to say in a lot of ways, like, it's just, you're a movie star, like, you're a superstar, right? Like, I don't know, it's not a thing anymore.
I mean, I think it is, but I feel like that role's been supplanted over the years, like probably actually the last 20 or 30, even 40 years, by both a mix of like pop stars. Because, I mean, think about it. People, when you think of shrines, people, like, you think of boy bands, you think of like a Harry Styles, and then also, Beatles. Quasi-celeb, like the cult of celebrity itself, like the Kardashians or the Royals. Because I'm sorry, being a royal it's not a job. Okay, you were born into this.
It's very hard.
It's very Zamindar. I mean, it's these people that we're talking about that own the land and do all this stuff, and they only own it because of their birthright. And that's what I kind of like, how they subvert that in this.
Yeah. No, that was so cool. And yeah, I mean, there's such a great heart to this movie. And I really, I love seeing that. And I love seeing Muthu's a working class hero. And that's the thing. I mean, obviously class systems are different in America than they are going to be, in India. We don't have a caste system, but we do have massive class issues. And it would be kind of cool to see something, like that. And that's the thing. Rajinikanth pulls that role off too, because I think that's the problem. Like if Tom Cruise, and I actually think Tom Cruise is a really good actor. I'm not like, people are like, oh, I'm not a fan of somebody as a person. Listen, if you look at most art heroes that you love, what they did in their real lives, and you want them to be like ideal saintly people, you're not going to like anybody, or very, very few.
Yeah, don't research your heroes, folks.
Yeah.
Don't meet them as one thing. A lot of them are dead, but don't research them either. Jeez,
don't date them. Don't let them babysit. Don't let them near a house plant. You'll be fine. But Tom Cruise, I wouldn't buy him pulling off a working class character.
No, I think I'm with you. I think I'm with you.
I mean, that kind of role would have been an older school Hollywood actor, and probably somebody, maybe even, I wouldn't call Rajinikanth rugged, but he's got an earthy charm about him. There is like just something like so magnetic about him, but not it's like in a super polished, like phony way. Like
he's earthy, like Charles Bronson.
Like, yeah, but way more pretty. But as pretty as Amir Khan. Heart.
That's the surprise. Well, I guess this came out in 95. So we didn't get the Amir Khan version of this.
Right.
We did in my heart. Actually, no, I wouldn't want to see anybody do this other than Rajinikanth. Like,
that first musical number alone. Again, like I've mentioned, I'd shown that clip to so many people out of context, but the movie has so much to offer outside of that musical number. But the musical number feels like a pretty good microcosm of what you're going to get with the movie. It is, without a doubt, a masala film to its core. But that is, if you are someone looking for the true Indian cinema experience in a lot of ways, Muthu, Netflix right now, you will get to see things that you have heard people make jokes about or pay homage to in things like The Simpsons and other stuff. You will get to see where those kinds of things come from with this movie. And like the world is a better place for the fact that it's Rajinikanth, like you mentioned, Heather. I mean, it's just and he smiles.
Oh,
yeah. When he smiles, you're just like, you rascal, you rascal, you, because he's up to something. You always know he's up, just that fucking grin with that mustache. You know he's up to something.
He's epic, and his horses love him. Like,
yeah,
the animals love him. Even the animals are like, this guy's the man. Like, we love him, and I love that the horses don't really work for like when his master like tries to take over in a huff, or have the other guy take him off in a huff, because the horses are like, no,
they only listen to one master, and that's when Rajinikanth pulls on the reins so hard that they fly over a gorge.
Oh my god,
that was amazing.
Like earlier that scene,
Jesus Christ!
Oh my god, my jaw legit dropped. I was like, no, I kept thinking, no, they're not gonna do this.
I saw Speed. Did you guys see Speed? Keanu did the same thing.
This is
where they got it from.
This is way, 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 way cooler.
We saw this movie called Muthu, and he did it with some horses. We think you can do it with a bus.
I mean, no offense, Keanu Reeves seems like a lovely human being. He's legit does actually seem like one of those people that wouldn't disappoint you as a human. He seems like a good dude. Listen, he ain't Rajinikanth. That's not a slight on him. How many are?
One, Rajinikanth.
Exactly. So
only he could throw a cobra at people. In the same scene,
yes, so good.
It's like there's so much to unpack in like every set piece in this movie. It's so, I don't know, like in a way that those Zucker movies, Mike, are like chock full of like jokes. There's just always something going on in these movies. Like being in a pinball machine might be the best comparison, like perpetual motion. There's never a moment where there's not something going on.
Right.
Even if I'm not a fan of it, like they're still doing stuff. Like they're constantly throwing things at you, even if it's not successful. In this movie, everything just happens to be successful for the most part. So
yeah, it's one of those films, and this is something I kind of miss. And I've like, Chris, like you like have expanded like my mind so much with getting into these films, because I feel like sometimes especially with Americans, like our film community, even when we're just focused more on like horror or cult or art house or whatever, we tend to get very locked in a Euro-centric, like, an American. I mean, there's so many gems there, and there's so many underrated gems there too that still need to be talked about. But I think there's a danger in getting locked into just kind of something that's familiar, and you need like the world that, to quote Auntie Mame, life is a banquet, like art is the banquet. Like, so make sure you get to learn about other cultures and other types of art, and you'll find you get less cynical. Like, it's really just been like such a joy. And I mean, the fact that every film, most Americans, they think Bollywood or Indian cinema, they just think of the stereotype that they've seen on The Simpsons, or maybe that little clip on Ghost World. And that can be there. I mean, we have elements, like you said, like you both mentioned earlier with this film, but even then, this film is way more than just that. And I really strongly encourage, and I love that you're doing this, Chris and Mike, and I love that you're going to be doing the BCC to expand people's vocabulary. I actually showed the trailer for Dangal to like my mother, because I was like, this is the type of film she would love. And my mother, most of the time when I try to recommend movies to her, she's like, she's like, you're into that weird shit. Wow, it's a legit quote. She got teary-eyed watching the trailer for Dangal. Like, it moved her. And I mean, wow, it was just so beautiful. I mean, when's the last time any of us have seen a trailer that like emotionally moved, especially like an American movie?
Avatar, The Bodies of Water, or whatever it's called. Avatar, The Water in My Heart. Avatar, Water on the Brain, or whatever it is.
Tell me it's called Avatar 2: The Water on My Brain.
The water of our hearts.
Water on our hearts.
And Celine Dion does the theme song. And it's literally just a song from Ferngully. Hey. James Cameron owes Ferngully some money. If Ferngully was a lot shorter.
And there weren't 8 of them either.
Exactly. And Tim Curry was in it. So
also fair. Mike, final thoughts on Muthu.
I mean, if you haven't seen it, I don't know why you're listening this far in the podcast, but if you haven't seen it and we haven't convinced you, I mean, you just need to go see it now. Like Chris said, it's on Netflix, very accessible. I started my search, the other day when I went to rewatch this. I'm like, okay, I know I've got this on DVD, but I'm too lazy to go down to the basement. All right, where's this going to be at? Am I going to have to look here, there, or another place? And then I went to justwatch.com and it came up and it's just like, you idiot, it's on Netflix. I'm like, oh, okay. That makes my life a lot easier.
What's even crazier? Google, if you punch it in on Google, it'll tell you where to stream it.
Really? Wow.
Google, I think, has like ripped off one of those sites and now just displays it. Yeah. So like if you Google Muthu, I cracked me up when I saw the Netflix thing. I was so worried. I was like, I'm gonna have to do the subtitles and I have to readjust. It's just on Netflix, just chilling on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. I actually own this on DVD, standard definition DVD.
Wow. That's wild.
Damn.
With optional English subtitles, menus, no trailer for the film, though, unfortunately.
I'll say some expert comment. I was expecting a commentary track.
Right. Yeah. 5 hours of extras.
Yeah. A 3-hour commentary track with Rajinikanth where we don't understand a single word.
Exactly. Yeah. No optional subtitles on that.
Nope. Heather, final thoughts on Muthu.
Muthu, more like it, because this film will leave you wanting more. That is either my worst or best segue ever. I had so much fun with this movie. It was delirious. It actually kind of made me feel like, I remember how I felt as a teenager when I started getting into cult cinema. Just that fresh joy of seeing something you've never quite seen before. And it's really unexpected, especially in this internet age where, I mean, and spoilers don't ruin a great movie. I will say that. But just getting to see something just like just so fun and delirious. Yeah, I loved it. I highly recommend people check it out. And Viva La Rajnikant.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing for me. So I had never seen any other Rajinikanth movies other than Entharan and 2.0, which are worth checking out. They're insane in their own right. And we'll do an episode on 2.0. Jess and I will at some point, since we did an Entharan episode. But Rajinikanth, for me, his personality and his charisma came through in that movie. And I was going to India, so it's whatever. I was going to watch an Indian movie on the plane. I'm glad that was the first one I watched, because this is now the second Indian movie that I've seen with him in it. And his charisma is, to say the least, not just natural. Like we said, if this guy had been a bus driver his entire life, what a great job to have for someone. But I mean, what a waste of his ungodly talent. So I don't know. I mean, Mike, this movie lived up to that YouTube clip, and very few things live up to a clip that good.
Yay.
And it's 3 hours long too. Again, like, I don't know. It is a movie that is kind of so much all at once that it really is just kind of its own thing, to the point where this is an Indian genre of its kind of solely Indian cinema is what this is. Like, nobody's making a Western masala film. So I don't know. This is a good spot to start the month. And yeah, it lived up to the expectations and more. So, and just go watch it on Netflix. Don't watch The Office again for the 5th fucking time. Watch something else, for fuck's sake, please.
Yeah, it's a new year, people. So new year, go for new movies. And not just like new movies that everybody in your office are watching and talking about. Push yourself. Watch something that is totally out of your comfort zone.
If you're listening to this show, you should be watching the movies.
I was about to say, anybody cool enough to listen to this, you guys aren't part of the problem, obviously.
Yeah, that's
but try to influence your friends, like, subtly. Yeah. Be like, oh, you liked R, like triple R? I was gonna call it because I'm a dork and haven't
you like her? You like her?
But
I do like her. Thank you very much.
And to be like, hey, well, I got some recommendations for you, and just plant those little seeds. Like, we have
that
so
are
much
also
culture.
on Netflix.
There you go.
So on that note, we'll take a break and we'll play a preview for the next Kulturecast of Indian Cinema Month.
अरे पहचाने नहीं काम का हैं? हम पीके हूँ पीके
नमूना समझते हो ना? सैंपल था वो। गलतियां सुधारने की आदत थी उसे। हेडलाइट सी आंखें थी और फ्लाइंग सॉसर जैसे कान। उसके सतरंगी कपड़े और उसका अतरंगी डांस। पान देखते ही मुंह में पानी आ जाता था। कहता था शहर के हर ब्रिज पर होते हैं एटीएम, जितने पैसे चाहिए निकाल लो। और हर सुनसान गली में होती है कपड़ों की दुकान, जो पसंद आए पहन लो। ना उसको समझा ना उसके तरीके। जितना अजीब था वो, उतना ही दिल के करीब था। मेरा दोस्त, एक बूंद तक नहीं पी थी उसने, पर नाम था पीके।
That's right. On the next Kulturecast, we're going to be talking about PK. That is a movie that stars Amir Khan.
Oh, excuse me. Let's get the bakers.
Heather's getting all hot and bothered at the thought of Forrest Gump, Lal Singh Chadda's own Amir Khan.
No, don't say the Forrest Gump. Don't. No.
He's so good in that movie. Not the Forrest Gump thing. I haven't seen that one yet.
No, you're good, Mike. You're good.
Yeah. But PK is fantastic.
He plays an alien, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and those big ears work for him in this film.
Oh, How dare you, sir? Those ears, they're part of his part of his boyish good looks. They stem from those Amir Khan ears.
I didn't realize he even had ears. I was too busy looking at those dreamy eyes.
Also valid. So on that episode, I'll be joined by Scary Stories We Tell's own Jess Byard. Until then, where can people find you, Heather?
You can find me over at my website, mondoheather.com. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram under @mondoheather, and I am on Patreon, which you can find at, I know this is going to surprise everybody, @mondoheather.
What about you, Mike White? Where can people find you in this rocket new year?
Chris, you didn't tell me that Forrest Gump movie is out on Netflix right now.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about it?
Oh, no. I'm going to have to watch it now that I know it's there.
Yeah, see? And it's like a tree falling in the woods. And can you watch a movie and not talk about it?
Yeah, often.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so many people, when they creep on me on Letterboxd, are just like, ooh, the new episode is going to be coming out about the Meg. I'm like, no, it's my wife watching it for the 50th time. So,
no, sorry. But yeah, no, the Amir Khan Forrest Gump movie is on Netflix. Lal Singh Chadha right now.
Ooh.
Heather, help me help you.
It's got to be so much better than Forrest Gump.
That's what I said. The bar is very low.
The bar is,
but it's like
it's in the dirt.
But all I can think about, maybe it would have helped me if I'd never seen Forrest Gump, which is often a wish.
Yeah,
I have that I know will never be granted because I have seen it, unfortunately, and it's burned in my brain. But
Jeannie would be like, "You sure you want to use one of your wishes on that?"
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well,
Doctor Strange is like, really? I'm going to bend the time and space for this, Peter.
So you can forget the. You got to give him more of a hard R's, though, Mike. Come on,
my goodness, I apologize.
Yeah, burn his ass, bro. Put him in one. Oh,
yeah.
Cumberbatch
is going to come for me.
Yeah, come on, bro. Yeah, no, I get it. I understand, Heather. Forrest Gump as the starting place for something. It does not inspire joy.
sweet baby Jesus. Also, the kid. This is the thing too, Mike. Is like Amir. It's like you've got me so worked up now, Chris. Amir Khan is a great actor, and even though like I'm like, oh God, this is obscene. Like, not my beloved Amir Khan. Forrest Gump. I know he'll be. He's going to be great because it's Amir Khan. The child actor playing baby Amir Khan Forrest Gump like has a mile long stare, and it's creepy. And there's something to quote many of. I'm sure Chris, you and I have similar Southern relatives that would say that boy ain't right.
Something wrong with that boy. He's looking up. He's looking at me funny. My eyes are doing something.
The kid's a little creepy. He kind of reminds me of, I can't remember the actor's name, but is in one of the Freddy, like that were on
Miko Hughes.
He's the real blue-eyed kid that looks kind of like ventriloquist doll. He's also in the music video for Rats, Lay It Down.
Wow.
And no, seriously, it's my thing. And it's
what is that like? Is it like a subtitle to a terrible name? Rats, Lay It Down.
No, it's really one of the band's best songs, in my opinion.
Is the band called Lay It Down or the band's called Rats?
The band's called Rats. Yeah. RATT.
Oh, I thought you said Rats.
No.
Like rats laid, like rats.
It's Italian.
Well, like you were like talking, like you were talking to like a bunch of stool pigeons, like rats, lay it down. Like that's
no. Music video has a birthday clown, and the clown legitimately like not nearly as creepy as that child. That little boy is not right. That boy ain't right.
We'll have to watch it, Mike. See.
Mm-hmm.
What music video for late?
Yes, of course.
Lal Singh Chadha.
No, just have a glass of horchata and watch a better Amir Khan movie.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm going to have sweet dreams about Chris threatening Benedict Cumberbatch. But what was it? Come at me, bro.
Yeah. So, Mike, if Benedict Cumberbatch is looking for you, where would he find your body of work?
You can find me and you and a few other people we know over at weirdingwaymedia.com, where we keep all of our shows, don't you know?
That's right. So that's where you go. weirdingwaymedia.com, patreon.com/culturecast. If you want to be financially irresponsible and donate money to someone like me who makes things on the internet for a living, if that sounds like something you should be doing with your hard-earned money, go do it, because I would appreciate it. Mike, Heather, thank you both so much for joining me. This was fun. Good way to start off the year, coincidentally.
Absolutely.
We can only go down from here.
That's a spirit.
And we'll catch you on the next episode.